Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Cosmic Download. Good to be back on a Saturday doing a live stream again. Real quick, I'm going to give you a summary of what we're going to be going over in this video. Got a couple cool things to talk about, starting with some news about crypto and exchanges being shut down and why you need to move your crypto to a wallet immediately. We'll dive into a couple of other crypto stories. Then I want to talk about the UFO sighting that was recently seen in San Diego. And then we want to jump into a little bit about Lake Mead and what's going on at the Hoover Dam, Lake Mead, and Lake Powell, and how quickly it's draining, and some resources that you can look at to kind of keep up with that, because it's draining really fast, you guys, and there's going to be some stuff going on in the next couple months to a year related to these waterways. So, and then I thought we could jump on Google Earth and look at some cool Google Earth anomalies and just hang out. So this show is going to be brought to you by my coaching program, Conscious Crypto. So if you're looking to get into cryptocurrency and you need some extra help, you need that extra push and guidance to show you how to make purchases, make transfers, and then set up passive income, I'm the guy to help you. Just go to my website, link in bio, consciouscrypto.info, and you can apply to join my coaching program and be a part of the cool community that we've got growing there. So what's up, guys? What's up, Joel? If sounds all good, would you guys give me a 5 for 5 in the chat? And real quick, I'm going to share this link to a couple of groups, and then we'll go ahead and jump into it. Share. All right. Cool. Let's go ahead and get into it. And if you guys wouldn't mind hitting the like button, hitting subscribe, sharing the video if you can, all helps out. Let's talk about some stuff. So if you're not already following me on Twitter, I've got basically a new Twitter that I'm using again. It's actually a really old Twitter. You can see joined July 2013, so it's actually my 9th year anniversary on Twitter, but I barely use this Twitter. I had a couple thousand followers on my old Twitter back when all the Twitter purges were going down, and they took that out, and I still can't get it back for some reason. So I'm repurposing the super old Twitter of mine with barely any followers. So go ahead, help me out, give me a follow on there, and I've been posting there more lately. So yeah. Let's talk about crypto real quick. I want to give you guys a real quick overview of the markets. Bitcoin's at 19,000. We dipped below 20,000, and we're kind of, hanging out a little bit below there. XRP is currently at 31 cents. XLM is at just almost 11 cents, 10.8 cents. Cosmos at $8. Sologenic and Corium are another pair that we've been diving into more recently in the coaching program. And if you've been following the Telegram channel, we've been talking about Solo and Core, which are related to XRP, basically built on XRP, but that's kind of a longer thing to get into. But right now, Solo is sitting at 70, we'll say 0.718 XRP, because they're related to XRP in terms of price rather than the US dollar. And Core is taking a little dip here at 1 XRP. So we pretty much have Core sitting at the exact same price as XRP right now, which is really interesting because Corium has a max supply of, I want to say, 400 million. So just an interesting thing to look at when you look at, opportunity in terms of price. A lot of people will look at cryptos and they'll look at one crypto that's cheaper than another crypto and automatically go, oh, it's a better deal, right? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. What you have to look at is the circulating supply and the total supply. So with Corium, if we go to CoinMarketCap, that's the website we're on, and we scroll down on the right over here, we can take a look at that supply, and we can see circulating supply is 100 million core and max supply is 500 million core. So when you take 100 million into account versus XRP's 100 billion and they're the same price, you could say Core is the better deal right now, right? Because far less of a circulating supply, but the same price. So also look, rank 4141. That's a cool little synchro. So super, super undervalued project right here with Core. I'm not necessarily saying now is like, an amazing time to get in, but I also think it is. I actually set my price targets for exactly 1 on the price chart here because, one of the things we teach our students in the coaching program is using the Fibonacci retracement levels. And so when I was looking at the Fibonacci retracement on this, I was looking and seeing that I was telling my students last week on our coaching call that back when Core was up here at 1.4, that I think we'd be probably dipping down to either the 618 level at about 1.04 or just about the 1 level, slightly below the 1, down at the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement. And what's really cool about Fibonacci is that this is all based on basically sacred geometry. This is based upon the mathematics of the universe. And, we see these patterns in the crypto charts over and over, and it's a good way to be able to look and see what price targets you might want to hit and where you might want to set limit orders. So if this sounds like a bunch of, foreign language nonsense talk, but you're like, interested in it, that's what the coaching program's for. You can join and we'll walk you through all this stuff. But basically, we hit my price target. Basically, I put in a limit order at about 110 and then 1, and it hit that price target. Now we're slightly below 1, and we'll see what happens. I think we'll probably start to consolidate a little bit back up from here, but we will see. So that's where we're at with Core and Solo. The biggest thing that I want to talk about in this video, the main point to drive home, is that you guys need to get your crypto off of the exchanges as soon as possible and onto a private wallet like a Decent or a Ledger or Zum or whatever your private wallet is of choice. And the reason is that exchanges are going through some real ish right now. There are multiple exchanges, including Celsius and Voyager, 2 of the most famous exchanges out there that have completely halted their withdrawals, trades, everything. Everything's frozen. So this is why I teach crypto primarily, because of stuff like this happening. And what I mean is that the banks, these public exchanges, PayPal, anywhere that a centralized group has control over your money is not a good place to keep your money. And that's one of the big lessons for humanity right now that I think we're going through, and that hopefully not too many people are going to have to suffer through, but I think some people may just have to go through the lesson because they're not, listening to the information out there like I'm talking about, that banks, PayPal, public exchanges are not a safe place to keep your money right now. Going back to what happened in Canada with the whole, I don't want to say the trigger words, but that whole rally that happened where everyone moved from one coast to the other, those people had their crypto exchanges frozen. They had their bank accounts frozen. They had their PayPal accounts frozen. Anything where a centralized group was in control of money, the government ordered them to freeze accounts. And then the Canadian government even lied and told people that they had somehow managed to freeze people's private Bitcoin wallets, which is completely untrue and just a straightforward lie. So the number one reason I'm in crypto, aside from this transfer of wealth, this opportunity that we have for the greatest transfer of wealth in history, I believe, is the fact that it is the most sovereign store of your finances in terms of where is the safest place, the most secure place where you can store your hard-earned value, your money, your capital, whatever you want to call it, where you actually have control and where no other centralized group is able to come in and do funny business and freeze your accounts, change your numbers, do all that kind of stuff. Whereas with pretty much every other financial store of value that's run by a centralized group, that's happening everywhere right now. So this is what we're seeing in the crypto space. The head of what is called the FTX exchange, he put out a warning a couple days ago. This guy named Sam Bankman-Fried put out a warning that, let's see if I can find the news on it. He basically put out a warning saying that multiple exchanges were about to go under and that they had actually just walked away from a big deal with Celsius Exchange, which is the one that's talking about here in the article. But Sam Friedman, one of the youngest billionaires in the world, and also look at his name, Sam Bankman-Fried. That's a really interesting name, right? Bankman, like a banker. Bankman-Fried. Freed, like the Bankman or Freed. We're freeing the Bankman. He's a freed Bankman. There's some interesting esoteric connections there. So this guy who, let's see what his age is. He's only 30, and he's a billionaire, one of the youngest in the world. 60th richest person in the world, worth 24 billion. Like, that's crazy. That's even more than people like Peter Thiel and other people like that. And he, well, this too, but he was putting out warnings saying these exchanges are going under, basically be careful. And I think that is a big indicator of what is to come. So in terms of, what I put in the title here, major crypto event to come or something like that. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I believe that we are nearing very closely this major event that is related to the shift in the financial system, what we would call the quantum financial reset into the quantum financial system, led by XRP, XLM, and ISO 20022 coins of the like. There's a bunch of them, but those are my top two. And I really feel like we're really close. I feel like we're really, really close here. And the fact that these exchanges are going down, I mean, this is exactly what me and many other people out there were predicting well over a year ago, that, there would be a collapse of this old financial system, that we would see, potentially a black swan event, which would be multiple market crashes from the stock market to, the housing market to the derivatives, crypto, everything. And not saying that is for sure going to happen, but we are definitely on the road to, this happening. Doesn't mean that that's what it's going to end up in. Maybe the shift will happen before, we actually do have a black swan crash, but I still think it's very likely that is in the cards. And at the very least, we're watching the old system collapse before our eyes. We're watching the S&P 500 and Dow. I think they said the lowest, or I don't know if it was the lowest it's been or the most percentage decline, but like since the 70s, so multiple decades. We're watching these crypto exchanges go down. Meanwhile, particular projects like XRP, like Stronghold, which we're about to get into, are expanding. So while many exchanges like Voyager, Celsius have completely frozen their funds, Coinbase is, laying off tons and tons of people. We also have Ripple and Stronghold, among others, that are expanding and hiring and actively working. And to me, that's a major indication of what we were saying, a year plus ago coming true, that this is the direction things are going, and that Ripple, XRP, and the ISO 20022 coins will be the ones that rise like the phoenix from the ashes. And it's already happening. They're already rising out of the depths of this. And even though XRP is coming down in price with everything else, it doesn't really matter, because what's happening on the back end is still being built and expanding. And at some point, there's going to be a decoupling in the market between these ISO 20022 coins, the QFS coins, XRP, XLM, XDC, Flare, Algo, IOTA, Stronghold, all these ones. Even, some of those aren't specifically ISO 20022 yet, but potentially will be, and are at least in that ecosystem. These are already rising from the ashes. So I think this is a major indicator of, what is going on. So basically, get your crypto off the exchanges. This is a tweet that I shared from the Bearable Bull. He said, if you have crypto on any exchanges, you want to get robbed at this point, right? So we're watching all this happen. We're watching people lose their money, and yet people are still keeping them on exchanges because they just are either too lazy or they don't have the knowledge on how to transfer them to a private wallet. So that's one of the things that I'm here to help with in terms of my coaching program, and I can coach you on, is getting your funds safely from exchanges to wallets, and then, how to use the wallets, and then how to use passive income, how to generate passive income so that we are, still generating money in this bear market and in these market conditions. And this is really the time that millionaires are made, like everyone who has been made a millionaire in the crypto space will tell you, like I would say 9, if not 10 out of 10 people that are millionaires in crypto will tell you that the millionaires are made in the bear markets. They're not made in the bull markets when everybody's buying and everyone, I mean, that's when you actually become the millionaire, but you plant the seeds for it right now. And so while a lot of other people out there right now are leaving the space until it gets popping again, right? Like, I'm sure you've had friends who are like, well, you know, crypto's kind of down. I think I'm going to wait until it comes back, right? That's like the worst way to think and the worst way to actually take advantage of opportunity in this transfer of wealth. You have to be courageous enough to act now and to plant your seeds now, right? It's like we are in, you know, the time before spring where we need to plant our seeds in the ground, and then come spring, come summer, these are going to grow. But what's going to happen is that the majority of people are not going to start planting their seeds until metaphorical summer, when things are already popping off. And by that time, our seeds are going to be, you know, big, beautiful gardens by that point. So I really, really want to stress this point, that not only to get your stuff off the exchanges, get them on the wallets, set up your passive income stream so that you're generating profit while we're still in this bear market. And then that profit that you're generating now is going to be worth so much more when we're in the bull market and things are popping off. So take advantage of the conditions that we're in now. Either find a coach like myself or somebody else that you resonate with that is tiered for your specific goals. But, like, you know, even if you're figuring it out yourself, just do it. We just need to, like, take advantage of this time period and not be scared and not procrastinate and wait, because the opportunity for you know, people like us that want to change the world for the better, that want to seed consciousness into the world and seed projects that are better for humanity, this is going to give us the funding and the capital to be able to do that, which is my primary reason for being in crypto, is that I'm trying to use this money to change the world for the better. I want to create projects and create movements with this capital that I'm generating that help awaken the world and change the world and create the kind of earth that we actually are proud to live on and proud to call our home. And we're proud of the leaders that, you know, run the country. And, you know, I think that's important. So this is my Telegram, by the way. If you want to join, t.me/Cosmic Origins channel is my Telegram account. You can join there. And if you want to join that coaching program, you can click the link in the bio below. It'll take you to my website, and you can apply to join my coaching program. So another thing that went down was OpenC, one of the biggest actually probably the biggest NFT exchange out there. They've been going through a lot of problems lately, and most recently they had a massive data breach, as they say, quote, after an employee at its email delivery partner leaked users' data. Oh yeah, it sounds kind of like the leak that happened in California with all concealed carry gun owners, right? Like, we're having these leaks that are probably not, you know, by accident. They're most likely intentional leaks. And so with OpenC, there's a ton of funny business going on there. And it's sad because this is the main place that people who are artists, when they're wanting to get into NFTs, they go to OpenC because that's the most kind of accessible platform. So I recommend, instead of OpenC, if you're an artist that wants to start minting NFTs and you're like, I don't know how to start, I recommend Sologenic over here. The Sologenic website has a built-in NFT marketplace that is decentralized and way more financially friendly than OpenC, and also just friendly in general because it's decentralized, and OpenC is heavily centralized and heavily corrupted. This is decentralized, so it's a peer-to-peer smart contract-based network, and you can see you can upload art, music, movies, metaverse projects, sports, trading cards, collectibles, you name it. And it's way cheaper because we're utilizing the XRP ledger instead of Ethereum, which is very expensive to use. So this is the website that I would recommend. It's sologenic.org, and then you just click NFTs here at the top. Actually, I think if you just go to sologenic.org, yeah, explore NFT right here, and it'll take you here. The other cool thing is you can get solo cards now. So in terms of being able to spend your cryptocurrency, you know, one of the things I teach my students is that you don't have to sell your crypto to be able to spend it. So I've never actually once, I swear, I've never sold crypto back into US dollars. I'm trying to remember if like there was maybe one time, but I don't think I've ever even set up the accounts properly to be able to do it because I've never had an interest in selling back. Now that doesn't mean I can't take profit. There's stable coins and stuff I can take profit into. But in terms of, why would I want to hold the US dollar basically at this point? Why would I want to hold a fiat currency? I either want to hold a precious metal or I want to hold a utility coin like XRP that has a specific purpose and value that will also likely be backed by precious metals in one form or another in the future. So these cards, in particular, in this example, the solo card allows you to spend your crypto directly. And so there are lots of cards like these. This one's not actually available yet, but you can join the waiting list. But I use the Uphold card with the Uphold exchange. You can get one on Coinbase. You can get one through crypto.com. A lot of the big exchanges allow you to do that. And so, earlier we were saying don't keep your crypto on the exchanges. Keep that in mind, right? Use these as like checking accounts. Don't use these as your savings. Just transfer money to these cards when you need to spend them, and then keep your savings on your private wallets. That's how I utilize these. All right. What else we got here? So recently, news-wise with Corium had their DevNet, their developer net, go live recently. So Corium, if you guys are not familiar with this is one of the projects that I've been talking more about that is connected to Sologenic, and it's one of the ways that my students are getting free money every month. So if you're holding Sologenic, you're getting, and when I say this, when you're holding the Solo token, which is built on the XRP ledger, you can store it in your Zum wallet. We're getting free Corium every month airdrop to our wallets. So this is like, hundreds of dollars, if not more by now, that people in like my program, for example, have stacked up just through, free airdrops where you're just holding the Solo token and you're getting this for free. And then when it appreciates, that's going up in value too. And then starting January of next year, we're going to get more free airdrops of Corium by holding Corium. So it's like the party just keeps going. And this is just one of the examples of passive income streams that we have going right now throughout the current market conditions. And to me, it's like if you're not taking advantage of these, you're just missing out on opportunity, because these are, not only a great way to make free income, but they are amazing projects that we're getting in really early on. So they're projects that I and many other people believe in long term. And one of the quick, just I guess, pieces of evidence for why is it's directly connected to XRP and Ripple. So the Sologenic team who created Corium is funded by Ripple, which is XRP essentially. And so to me, it's like I already trust it from that. And like I said, we're getting these monthly airdrops by holding Solo, and then starting next year we're going to be getting more. So their developer net went live recently, which means that developers are going to be able to start building more applications on this, which is the whole purpose of Core, is that developers is that it is the core infrastructure of future blockchain applications to be built on top of this network. Kind of like you could picture Ethereum, but even more, obviously without all the problems of Ethereum, more pure, I would say. They also released their new website, which is pretty cool. One blockchain for basically everything is their motto. They're now advertising themselves as the fastest blockchain in the world at 7,000 transactions per second. It's based on a bonded proof of stake consensus, bonded proof of stake tokenomics with a consensus mechanism that uses staking. So we will be able to stake and create passive income, and there's going to be all sorts of DeFi passive income opportunities built on top of this, similar to how I've described Flare, but slightly different use case, slightly different utility. So I'm really excited about Corium. It's one of my biggest holdings now, and I think that it's one of these hidden gems that is gonna be a really big opportunity for people to get in on now. And like we were saying, it's listed as below the 4,000th coin on CoinMarketCap. So very, very like low profile, like no one's really looking at this or paying attention to it. And excuse my birds in the background. They always get excited when I'm on here and talking. It's like living in a rainforest in my house with our birds. All right, so Corium. Hold on, give me just a second, guys. I'm gonna go silence my bird real quick. Okay, we're back. So, Corium, one of my top picks, and just to kind of explain what we saw with the charts real quick, I think what happened was we had a lot of hype, and this is a good way to understand how kind of the mindset of these things work in general with the masses. We had a lot of hype leading up to the announcement of the Corium Dev Net and what they call the white paper, which is information about the project coming out, and that hype led to this pump. And then after the announcement, this happens pretty much throughout crypto. After the announcement, there's usually a consolidation or a dump back down, and we already looked at how it hit my price target levels. So basically it's moving as expected. Like, this is very normal, and we should be seeing a consolidation back upward over the next few weeks is what I would guess. And also with Solo, we could be seeing Solo going up very soon, because Solo is going to be getting a tier 1 exchange listing. It's looking like it's going to be listed on Binance. So this is one of those things that I tell like my coaching students that, when we get these projects that are really early on these smaller platforms, when they go live on the bigger platforms like Coinbase, like Binance or whatever, they get way more eyes on them. They get way more attention. And so the amount of people that are buying it goes up a ton, and so we see the price go up a lot when these things get listed. So a great strategy for making money in crypto is to buy projects that are on smaller exchanges that are not as easily accessible to the masses, and then when they get listed on bigger like what they call what they call tier 1 exchanges, top level exchanges, there's almost always a major increase in price because of all the people that are now like aware of it and buying into it, and just the pure accessibility of it. So that's like a strategy that I would recommend using. Joel says, get in when it's underground before it goes mainstream. Exactly. All right. Let's move on here. So Stronghold is another one of my favorite projects, and I put them here because they have been making a ton of tweets lately about how they're expanding. They're hiring, they're sharing their team, they're hiring for all sorts of positions. Like, they're expanding, and they're a pretty small team, so it makes sense that they're expanding. But it's cool to see how they are expanding within this market when the bigger ones are collapsing. So it really gives you an indication of like, who's positioned themselves more properly or wisely, and which ones are going to be making it through this shift in the financial systems. So Stronghold is one of my top ones. They are going to be working with retail payments. So if you're a business owner, if pretty much for business owners right now is the main use case for actually using their network, but they will be bringing stuff for the retail industry. But they're kind of going to be either replacing the underlying technology of things like Square and PayPal and payment systems. So they're basically a peer-to-peer payment system that's built off the Stellar network that can be used for retail transactions. And they have a whole DeFi reward system for retail transactions that'll benefit both the consumer and the retail seller, which is pretty cool. So if you own a business, I'd recommend looking into them to process payments. It's what I'm doing right now. All right, so for crypto, that's about it. So if you guys do want some extra help in the crypto space, before we move on to the next stories here, go ahead, click the link in my bio. I have a short video on my website here just kind of telling you a little bit about my coaching program and what exactly it offers. And then you could book a free call with me, and we'll jump on, we'll chat, we'll see if basically if your goals are a good fit for the program and if I can help you out. And if I can, we'll get you all enrolled in the program immediately. You can get started right away, and then you can join our next coaching call that we do as a group, which is every week. We do them every Thursday. So if you are interested in that, click that link below, book a call with me, and hope to chat with you soon. All right, now let's move into this UFO story in San Diego. So June, I don't know if it happened June 27th, there was a mass UFO sighting in the San Diego area. Let's see if we can. Oh. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys are able to hear the audio for that. I'm not sure if I set that up right, but we'll just play the video. Hopefully you guys can see the video. And basically what it is it's several orbs that appeared over San Diego coast. And they said the military said they were not conducting any exercises. It wasn't a weather balloon. There wasn't flares. They basically put it on the news, and they put out everything they could to basically say it's nothing official that we would have known what it was. It wasn't anything, military, supposedly. So you can see here, this is from an account called Cabamir, and he's linking it to the Galactic Federation and saying that we're going to be seeing more and more of these lately. And I think this is true in terms of, we're going to be seeing an increase of these sightings. Whether or not it is human or non-human, I think is still a big center of debate. And obviously this is even now making it to, the mainstream now, this debate of, is it ET or is it not ET? This is even now something they're talking about on like Joe Rogan and on the mainstream news, like even on like Fox News, pretty sure even like CNN. Like this has made its way from the underground disclosure circles to the mainstream, and that is pretty cool. So even though, I'm sure some people out there will have complaints about, the mainstream spinning the stories and things like that, I think more so this isn't an indication that we're going to be getting some kind of Project Blue Beam, horrifying experience, which a lot of influencers are putting that out there right now and fear-mongering about the UFO stuff and saying, we're going to, there's going to be a fake invasion, there's going to be blah, blah, blah. Personally, I feel that idea of a fake invasion, of a Project Bluebeam style thing, is such an old narrative. Like that's a narrative that's been around since the 90s. And I feel like anyone, especially big influencers that are out there that are like getting people scared, saying you need to prepare for the fake alien invasion, blah, blah, blah. I feel like it's just BS, and they're playing off of your fears. I think Project Bluebeam is not something that could, I think way too many people are aware of this for that to ever work properly. So I think more likely what's happening is we are getting closer to mainstream contact happening. I think that within our lifetimes, we probably will see some form of contact happening, if not even within, the next decade or shorter. I've heard some people predict even in the next few years we'll be getting more direct contact, and at the rate that this is speeding up, there's going to be something happening. So right now, obviously, the big debate in the mainstream is, are these from, humans, or are these from off planet? And I think both are obviously true in terms of what is out there and what's actually happening. And so I don't think it's too wise to get caught up in the debate of like it's one or the other, because I think it's both, right? Like there are both. We have military craft that are flying around that are very advanced, and we have true ET, you could call them Galactic Federation or whatever you want, craft that are, not human, and they're not of this earth, and they are doing things like this to awaken people. And I'm leaning towards that this is more of what that would be rather than a military thing. I've noticed that a lot of the golden light orb energies are that, to me, represent that. And it feels like we're really close to more mainstream contact like this happening. So that's pretty cool. And I also wanted to bring up that I've had a dream specifically in San Diego that disclosure was happening. I had a dream that I was in and this was like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I had a dream that I was in San Diego, and I was on a Navy ship, and I saw one of these, what they would call a Hanabu 2 style World War II Nazi craft. Hanabu 2 is what they're most commonly called. There's 3 styles of the Hanabu, but the one I saw was specifically the Hanabu 2. I could see the Iron Cross logo on it. I could tell, I mean, it looked almost exactly like this, except maybe without the camo style paint. It was more like just silver, but pretty much this. And it was just floating by, and everyone that was around me, we were just like, holy shit, like this is it. Like this is disclosure happening. We're here. And my thought was like, oh wow, they're doing it with the old school Nazi craft. Like, isn't that interesting? Like the first thing that they're disclosing is these old school Nazi outdated craft, which from a chronological perspective does kind of make sense, right? Like, you know, we have to kind of start from somewhere, and World War II and the Nazi craft they were developing and everything they were hiding was a big catalyst for everything that ended up getting created with the secret space programs in the following decades. So I thought it was interesting that those UFOs were in San Diego, and that's where I happen to have the dream. Curious, any of you guys that live in San Diego, if you live in San Diego and you've ever seen craft there, or if you saw this, I'd be curious to know. Leave a comment. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about is what is going on with Lake Mead, the Hoover Dam, Lake Powell, and the rapidly draining water level in all of these areas, and the Grand Canyon, and how this relates to all that. So here on my Twitter, I have a picture of real statues that are at the Hoover Dam. If you've ever been to the Hoover Dam, you've probably seen these. These are right outside the visitor center. Everybody that goes to the Hoover Dam drives or walks by these. And I remember as a kid going there and being like, asking my parents, like, what are those? Why do they have these here? Like, that doesn't seem normal. And I mean, if you look at them, they look like androgynous, you know, semi-angelic kind of beings, and they're sitting on what appear to be like black cubes. So I don't know, is this a depiction of a fallen angel? Is this something else? I'd be curious to know your thoughts as well. To me, it's clearly something very occult and esoteric, and fallen angel would make sense to me in terms of, you know, the black cube and the types of you know, things that are occurring in these areas. You know, Hoover Dam and Lake Mead have been the center of a lot of speculation and theories and stories on, you know, ET contact and things that have happened there. What comes to mind is like Valiant Thor, if you guys are familiar with him. He has connections with the Hoover Dam that I'm not I want to say that book Stranger at the Pentagon that talks about Valiant Thor says that his ship is located in Hoover Dam, but I'm not 100% if that comes from Stranger at the Pentagon. But if you want to learn more about Valiant Thor and there's a book called Stranger at the Pentagon, which is a real book from real people who worked at the Pentagon in like the 1950s, and they talk about this mysterious figure named Valiant Thor who just showed up one day in the White House and literally like came out of nowhere, and they asked him who he was, and he said he was from Venus, and he showed the president his craft and said that that's how he got here and all that. So Pete says, Jace just sent a cool vid to the Cosmic Origins chat telegram. Nice. I wonder if I can access it because I normally do it on my phone. I'll try to pull it up at the end here. But yeah, if you guys aren't in the Telegram, t.me/Cosmic Origins channel if you want to join the Telegram group. Oh yeah, I see your video, Pete. I'll have to, I'll check it out a little later. So yeah, so Valiant Thor depicted in this book, Stranger at the Pentagon, apparently he has connections to Lake Mead and Hoover Dam. But anyway, these beings are there, and they very much look like some kind of fallen angel occult being. I mean, even as a kid, I was like, there's something not right here. These are not, this is not a normal thing to have. So, you know, on that note, Lake Mead is draining really, really fast. And Lake Mead provides the water supply for most of Las Vegas and the surrounding southwest areas. And I want to take a look at Google Maps here just to kind of show you guys, or sorry, Google Earth. Oh, that's weird. Huh. I've never had that happen. It won't actually let me search it. That's really strange. Okay, well, it's okay. I know where it's at. I can find it manually. Hopefully this is showing up on the live stream. But so we have Vegas here. All right, this is Las Vegas. And then we've got the Hoover Dam, I believe, right here. There we go. You know, honestly, like playing around on Google Earth for a couple years now, like constantly, I feel like I have a pretty good idea. If I was in like a spaceship and I was flying around the Earth, I feel like it's really increased my like my, what do you call it, my location skills, or my ability to, like, you know, be able to say, like, look at the Earth from really far and find particular locations just through sight. I've never really been good with location before that, but this has kind of retrained my brain to be better at that. But anyway, so we have the Hoover Dam here. Those little alien fallen angel dudes are like, let's see if we can see them. There they are. And they're big. They're big. I mean, you can see how big they are. Like, that's a car. They're like twice as big as a car. So we had a whole coaching call recently where we went into this in my coaching program, because we talk about tons of other random stuff too, tied into crypto. But Lake Mead is draining like super fast, and it feeds most of Vegas and the southwest area. So, you know, what's going to happen when it dries? And if you don't, you know, if you don't believe me, if you're thinking, well, maybe it's just speculation, or maybe there's just fear mongering, go watch this YouTube channel, Sin City Outdoors. They've been doing updates every few days on the water level. They go out there with their boat, and legit, it's dropping several feet every few days. Every week, it's dropping, like, it seems like 10 feet. It's ridiculous. Like you could see 2 weeks ago, like this boat in the profile picture, just a couple weeks before that boat was almost completely submerged, and now it's like there's no water. So it's draining really fast. And the question is, why? Why is it draining so fast? And also, you know, what's connected to that is Lake Powell. And, well, we'll get into that to a sec, but let's pop over to Google Earth. So what actually feeds Lake Mead is Lake Powell. I'm going to check the comments real quick. Yeah, Brad says the Lake Mead situation is wild. Bunch of videos show how bad and quickly the situation's getting. They're putting up solar panels, but I'm not sure how comparable that is. They're putting up solar panels for what? To stop the draining? Pete says that video he posted in my channel has to do with the Hoover Dam. Interesting. I'll have to try to pull that up. So if we follow Lake Mead, I mean, it's a pretty big lake. It kind of fingers off into a couple different areas, but the main entrance of the lake. Sorry, my cat's just making weird noises, trying to figure out where he is. If we find the entrance, it's right here. And it feeds from the Grand Canyon. So we can see this is where it comes in. The Colorado River feeds Lake Mead. Pretty dirty, honestly, and we'll talk about that in a sec too, the contamination, because Lake Powell is super heavily contaminated with uranium, and this is all coming into Lake Mead and into the water supply. Here's the Grand Canyon. Follow the Grand Canyon up, and that takes us to Lake Powell. Okay, you guys are probably familiar with Lake Powell, especially if you're from Arizona. Lake Powell feeds the Colorado River into the Grand Canyon, and Lake Powell is also draining really fast. And the other issue with Lake Powell is that it's heavily contaminated with wastewater. 26,000 tons of radioactive material are buried under Lake Powell. Unremediated uranium mill tailings, it says. And this is leaching from Lake Powell into the water all the way through the Grand Canyon. That's all getting contaminated, and then it's going into Lake Mead, and then it's going into people's water supplies in Vegas and the Vegas area, southwest area. So this is like a big deal, and I had not heard of this until very recently. Someone brought it up to me. It says, the mill's liquid waste stream poured directly into the river at a rate of some 340 gallons per minute, or 500,000 gallons per day, laced with not only highly toxic chemicals used to leach uranium ore and iron aluminum sludge as a milling byproduct, but also radium-tainted ore solids. Radium is a highly radioactive bone seeker. So basically, when you ingest it, it goes straight to the skeleton and attacks the skeleton, and then decays into other radioactive elements. So not good to be consuming. So I'm wondering, to me, everything is in God's plan, right? Everything happens for a reason. So what is God's plan, so to say, behind these lakes drowning? Is it to eventually expose this stuff? And also, is it going to expose the mysteries that lay within the Grand Canyon and Lake Powell in terms of ancient civilizations and Egyptian-like civilizations that lived there? So it's probably not new to anyone here, but the Grand Canyon has a lot of Egyptian-style, Egyptian-like artifacts in it that have been heavily covered up. If this is new to you, look up an explorer named Kincaid. There was an explorer who was commissioned by the Smithsonian Museum like about 100 years ago or so to explore the Grand Canyon, and he came across this cave that was later dubbed Kincaid's Cave, where he talks about seeing all sorts of Egyptian and Tibetan hybrid type artifacts hidden in the Grand Canyon. So he described it as Egyptian-like hieroglyphs, but at the center of the temple that he had entered is what he described it as. There was a giant Buddhic-like figure that looked more Tibetan, but there was all this Egyptian style stuff as well. So, this could have been like maybe an Egyptian colony, an Egyptian group that moved from Egypt to the United States. This could completely rewrite history in terms of how we interpreted the Egyptian influence around the planet. Could also be even older than that. This could be, Atlantean style artifacts. This could have been like an Atlantean colony, an Atlantean breakaway group. If you guys are familiar with the Law of One material, this is a series of channelings from an group of entities that call themselves Ra. And in the raw material, as they call it, they discuss that the Atlanteans, post-sinking of Atlantis, broke away. There were several breakaway groups, and I forget where exactly they said they went, but they listed a few places like Turkey and I believe the Americas. So it could be likely that, this is an Atlantean colony that we saw in the Grand Canyon, or it could have been a direct group of Egyptians, or but likely not Egyptians because of the Tibetan influence is what I'm thinking. Likely more some other kind of group. But yeah, check out Kincaid's Cave if you haven't heard of that. And then there's also artifacts in hieroglyphics in Lake Powell. I don't know if this specifically is the real one. This is at Lake Powell, but like I don't know, I can't prove to you or myself if this is like truly an ancient, inscription or if this is like a more modern thing. But the person who took this picture said this was in a really remote area and like really far away, easily accessible. And I know there's been lots of other cases like this that have been covered up by, the media, and you just can't find them online anymore. But even Jamie, the guy who runs the behind the camera on the Joe Rogan show, and that guy's like super, skeptical about a lot of the stuff. Even Jamie was saying this is true and saying that there is direct evidence of Egyptian like stuff at Lake Powell. So with Lake Powell draining, with Lake Mead draining, I'm thinking maybe we're gonna see like artifact surfing, but who knows? I'm very curious to see where this leads. I'm not too excited about the potential of like water shortages or drought or anything like that, but I do think that at the end of the day, it is all God's plan, and there is a purpose behind all this stuff. And maybe part of this purpose is that we need to, people need to get out of this part of the country. Maybe, I don't know, like maybe there needs to be severe droughts so that there's a mass migration to other more safe parts of the country if there's going to be coasts shifting and things like this. Who knows? These are just theories of mine, but I do hold faith that there is something good that will come out of this in one form or another, even if there's also, bad things that come out of it. I do think that something good will come out of it. So we will see. Larry says there's a dam under the Hoover Dam. Yep, I believe that 100%. Makes sense. I mean, the fact that they have those fallen angel things there, I think that there's probably some very interesting things going on in and around that dam. The other thing is like let's see if I can find it online, but I'm pretty sure in like Transformers, the movie, like the first one, pretty sure they were at the Hoover Dam in a deep underground military base, and I'm pretty sure that's where they were keeping that giant black Borg cube that they called the Allspark. Let's look into it. I haven't actually looked into it recently. The Decepticons attacked Hoover Dam to steal energy from it. This consists of blasting holes on top of it. Autobots arrive, blah, blah, blah. I want to say at one point that they were holding that giant black cube here, like under the dam. And I remember I had a video game, like when I was a kid, where you played as a Transformer and you like flew into this part specifically. I remember it was like right here was an entrance, and you would go into this part, and there was a whole like military base built out under the rocks in here. So that was like disclosure in just a Transformers video game. But whenever they put that stuff in games and in movies, that there's some truth to it to a degree. So I'm very interested to see what happens with all that. The other thing they found at Lake Powell, apparently, I think recently, 2019, were Spanish coins dating back to the conquistador days, they were saying. So there's definitely history of mystery in this area that I think will be coming to light in the coming years, decades, who knows how long. But with this water shortage at Lake Mead, I mean, this is a very urgent thing. I mean, they're at the point where before we lose water, we're going to lose power. So the amount of power that Lake Mead provides is from what I've heard, it's lowered right now, and it's at a critical level where very soon, like potentially even in the next couple months, we're going to see that Lake Mead isn't able, or I should say the Hoover Dam is unable to produce power any longer. And so that could result in, who knows? That, I mean, that would be a crisis at that point, but who knows? Maybe the solution to the crisis will be something that helps, you know, helps humanity a lot more, like some kind of new energy technology. There's always catalysts, in my opinion, that bring about these technological advancements and these other things. Even if they already exist, we know they already exist. It's like they need a reason to be able to bring them out publicly in one form or another. So I'm going to be following this story for sure. Yeah, I think that's about it. Let's see, where are we at here? 56 minutes. All right, I think that's good. I think we'll probably cap it here instead of going like a 2-3 hour live like I normally do. Try to keep it at 1. See if that does a little bit better for YouTube algorithms and stuff, because they kind of keep me oppressed on here. I've been hanging out at like 2 out of 3 strikes for like a couple years now, trying to, like, you know, be careful not to get banned. So I got to make a backup channel soon. I'm thinking about making another YouTube channel specifically for crypto. If that's something that you'd be interested in, drop a comment. And yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. Again, if you want some help in cryptocurrency and you want to join my coaching program, you can click the link below. You can watch this video I have up here that talks about specifically what my program is offering. And you can book a free call with me, and we'll get you all set up in the coaching program and in the container on our weekly coaching calls and everything. And hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Happy Saturday. Much love, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.